All right, welcome again to Good Choices. Mic check looks good. Noise floor looks great. So, um, this is pain. So let's get the pain done as soon as possible, right away in the morning here. So you'll notice we've got 26 now coming up. These are going to come up pretty fast. So the way this works is it starts a little bit lighter with just 30 cards, new cards, and then it ends a little bit lighter with just the reviews, and you're going to know them all. But kind of the midsection, that's where it starts to get a bit crazy because you've got new cards coming in, and then you've got quite a lot of reviews. So let's waste no time, get a good sense of how long this will actually take me, and then continue on. So Cloud Init is just not for virtual machines. The Cloud Init tool can also be used to pre-configure containers such as the LXD Linux container prior to deployment. There we go. So you don't need Docker, you don't need Kubernetes. You can just use a built-in Linux container as well. That's another option for you. Other package management tools popular on Red Hat compatible distros are Yum, Yellow, and Zypper is the third one. Zypper. The command head is used to read the first 10 lines of a file by default, and the command tail, Tail, is used to read the last 10 lines of a file by default. Sometimes, due to a corrupt or malformed configuration file, you may wish to restore a package's settings to its fresh state, or you may wish to change the answers you gave to the initial configuration questions. To do this, run the dpkg-reconfigure utility. dpkg-reconfigure. Here we use the command tn to translate /t, the tab separator, by a comma. TN is quite useful when we need to exchange one character to another. Be sure to review the man pages for both TN and paste. And the correct answer is TR, not TN. I got it wrong. Before a file system can be accessed on Linux, it needs to be mounted. This means attaching the file system to a specific point in your system's directory tree called a mount point. The blank command will only output the blank lines, not the repeat. So it's UNIQ, and you get a clue here with the UE filling that in. So the command is UNIQ. When looking for problems during system diagnostics, it may be useful to load specific modules currently loaded. The command lsmod. So the correct command was mod probe. That's the command I had in my mind, but it's not the command I said out loud, so I got it wrong. And we can do the same piping the output of the tail command to the blank command, which by default will count the number of words within a document. So WC. The memory space where the kernel stores its messages, including the boot messages, is called the kernel ring buffer. The messages are kept in kernel ring buffer even when they are not displayed during the initialization process, like when an animation is displayed. However, the kernel ring buffer loses all messages when the system is turned off or by exiting the command DMESG. Got it. There are other commands that handle compressed files. bzcat for bzip compressed files. Zcat. Nope. Xzcat for compressed files, and zcat for gcompressed files. So xzcat. For yum, the repos are listed in the directory /etc/yum.repos.d. Each repository is represented by a .repo file, like CentOS base.repo. Additional extra repositories can be added by the user by adding a repo file in the directory mentioned above or at the end of the blank. However, the recommended way to add or manage so my answer is going to be /etsy/yum.conf /etsy/yum.conf. I should update this card to have it say file, but I got it right, so I'm not going to spend the extra time on that. So here we use the command. Now the command is translate, so it comes from the first two letters. The command is tr. What the command does is the command is tr. What it does is it translates. It's kind of like a Python replace command. So tr. The blank is used by machines based on the extensible firmware interface UEFI to store bootloaders and kernel images for the operating systems involved. So it's the ESP. It's the extensible firmware interface system partition. Yes. There are other commands that handle compressed files, and then zcat for gzip. Another directory directly related to devices on a standard Linux system is blank. Inside the every file inside blank is associated with the system device, particularly storage devices. And I think that's the key with this. So the answer is going to be /dev, D-E-V. Got it. As a Linux user, you will often copy files from one location to another. Whether it is moving a music file from one location to another system or file, use CP. Now I did include some extra stuff in here, so there might be something else that's relevant, but the answer is CP. Similar to what the shutdown command does when powering off or restarting the system, the blank command is able to send a message. So this is wall, W-A-L-L. As you use your machine, files progressively grow in number and size. Sometimes it becomes difficult to locate a particular file. Fortunately, Linux provides blank. So this is a locate. Okay, and the correct answer is find. I was thrown off by this word here. When we can see the yeah, so find, not locate. The configuration file /boot/grub/blank, which is used to create a list of operating systems to boot. Okay, so this is operating system, so I'm gonna go with grub.conf. Got it. Okay, so this is the so creating directories is critical to organizing your files and folders. Files may be grouped together in a logical way by keeping them inside a directory. To create a directory, use mkdir. and you can use -P to not have to make them one at a time if you're making children inside of parent folders. The same init program can be used to alternate between run levels on a running system without the need to reboot. The command blank can also be used to alternate between run levels. That's interesting. Wow, okay. I just don't know. Oh, okay. Telling it, and I've gotten this one many times. Haven't gotten it right. Keep seeing it again, and that's the power of this. That's the purpose of what I'm doing here. So just like CP for copying, Linux provides a command for moving and renaming files. It is called MV, and it is for renaming, which is counterintuitive because it's moving, but I mean you're moving it to a new name. I guess you can think of it that way. You can also do -I option, which will make it so that so like in a script it'd be a good thing to do -I because it will prevent from changing the wrong file. And another option you can use, it's good to know some of the options, you just have to take my word for that, will be -F. So -F, oh sorry, -F will forcefully overwrite without any permission. There's a system-wide setting to make it ask for permission. You can overcome that here, or if this is a special, yeah. So the correct answer is MV. And I need a break. I'll be right back shortly. Alright, I'm back. Let's try to close this out. That would be nice. That's the dream. So as soon as the root file system is available, the kernel will mount all file systems configured in /etc/fstab, and then we'll execute the first program, a utility named init, INIT. As you use your machine, files progressively grow in number and size. Sometimes it becomes difficult to locate a particular file. Fortunately, Linux provides find, F-I-N-D, to quickly search and locate files. When looking for problems during system diagnostics, it may be useful to unload specific kernels loaded. The command modprobe, N-O-D-M, as in Mike, O-D-P-R-O-B-E. There we go. The command head is used to read the first 10 lines of a file by default, and the command tail is used to read the last 10 lines of a file by default. And we can do the same by piping the output of the tail command to the blank command, which to the WC command. The same init program can be used to alternate between run levels in a running system without the need to reboot. The command telinit, T-E-L-I-N-I-T, can also be used to alternate between run levels. The blank command will only output the blank lines, so the unique lines, and the -C parameter tells unique UNIQ, the UNIQ command, to count the occurrences of equal lines, so UNIQ. There are other compressed commands that handle compressed files. bzcat for bzip compressed files, blank for xz compressed files, so it's xzcat. Here we use the command tr to translate. The blank command is one of the most important command line tools you should learn in order to navigate the file system. So In its basic form, ls will list file and directory names only. There you go. There are other commands that handle compressed files, and then zcat, zcat is for gzip compressed files. As a Linux user, you will often copy files from one location to another, whether it is moving a music file from one directory to another or a system file. Use blank for all copy tasks, CP. Systemd is also responsible for triggering and responding to power-related events. The systemctl suspend command will put the system in low power mode, keeping the current data in memory. The command systemctl hibernate will copy all memory data to disk, so the current state of the system can be recovered after powering it off. The actions associated with such events are defined in the login.conf or in separate files inside the directory lognd.conf.d. However, this systemd feature can only be used when there is no other power manager running on the system like the ACPID daemon. The ACPID daemon is the main power manager for Linux and allows finer adjustments to the actions following power-related events like closing the laptop lid, low battery, or battery charging levels. So I'm going to go with now I don't think it's in /etc because that's for system-wide configuration files. These are for actions associated with the events. So you know what? I think I am going to go with systemd because these are configuration files. So I'm going to go with /etc/systemd. Yeah, so they are configuration files. /etc/systemd. Creating directories is critical to organizing your files and folders. To create a directory, use mkdir. The blank is an archive containing a file system used as a temporary root file system during the boot process. The main purpose of a blank file is to provide the required modules. So this is a init ram fs. Yep, init ram fs. Blank is used to delete files. So this is rm. On systems based on blank, init is the first process that is executed once the Linux kernel loads. So it's sysv init. Yep. Blank creates a directory if it is empty. Its syntax is given by mkdir. Let's go with mkdir. Oh, so I got that totally wrong. I actually read the question wrong as well. Blank deletes a directory. I think I said creates. So that's why my mind was confused. But the directory has to be empty in order to use rmdir. So I got that wrong. In addition to the configuration files described above, the blank environment variable can be used to add new paths for shared libraries temporarily. It is made up of a separated set of directories where libraries are looked up. So addition to the environment variable. Okay. To add new export, export. Nope. So the correct answer is all in capital letters, and it's ld underscore library underscore path. So this is an environment variable. Export is a command. So not only did I get it wrong, I really misunderstood the entire. I did not understand what it was asking. I thought it was asking for a command, but we can see it is asking for an environment variable, which is usually in this sort of syntax. With uppercase, commands are usually in lowercase. Just like CP for copying, Linux provides a command for moving. It's called mv. It can also be used for renaming. For Yum, the repos are listed in the directory slash now these aren't configuration files, so these are repo files. So interesting. So I'm going to go with slash lib, right? Let's go with slash etsy slash yum dot repos dot d slash etsy slash yum dot repos dot d. And I knew that because yeah, so this does have to do with system-wide configuration of Yum. So it goes in Etsy, and then it's yum.repos.d. The blank command is the easiest way to create new empty files. So this to create. So it's going to be and to create a new empty file. So the command is touch, touch. Currently, blank is the most widely used set of tools to manage system resources and services, which are referred to as units by blank. A unit consists of a name, a type, and a corresponding configuration file. I'm going to go with RPM. Systemd is the right answer. Blank deletes a directory if it is empty. RMDIR. The configuration files associated with every unit can be found in the blank underscore system directory. The command systemctl list-unit-files lists all available units and shows if they are enabled to start with the system boots. So this is going to be slash etsy slash systemd. Okay, so I was close. These aren't configuration files in this case. These are unit files. These are files associated with a unit. So they're unit files. They're not for configuration. They're for managing these units. So it goes in lib, and then it's systemd. The command blank, short for tape archive, is used to create tape archiver. So the command is tr. So the command tr, short for tape archiver, is used to create tr archives by converting a group of files into an archive. Archives Oh, no, the command is tar, T-A-R. The tar command, short for tape archiver, is used to create tar archives by converting a group of files into an archive. Archives are created so as to easily move or back up a group of files. Think of tar, T-A-R, as a tool that creates a glue onto which files can be attached, grouped, and easily moved. Tar also has the ability to extract tar, T-A-R, archives, display a list of the files included in the archive, as well as add additional files to an existing archive. Tar. During system initialization, the blank program identifies the requested run level, defined by a kernel parameter or in the /etc/init tab file, and loads the associated scripts listed there for the given run level. So the init program, INIT. So this is CICO, and it's used to process archive files such as star.cico or star.tar files. And it copies files to an archive, extracts files. To create a CICO archive, we use this. I don't know why you would want a CICO archive, but the answer is CICO. So the correct answer is CPIO, not CICO. I got it wrong. The references contained in dynamically linked programs are resolved by the dynamic linker ld.so or ld-linux.so when the program is run. The dynamic linker searches for libraries in a number of directories. These directories are specified by the library path. The library path is configured in the /etc directory, namely in the file blank, and more commonly nowadays residing in the blank.d directory. So this is in /etc, so the answer is going to be /etc, and then so /etc dot /etc/ld. I don't know. /etc/ I don't know. So the answer is /etc/ld.so.conf. So blank copies data from one location to another. If command line syntax of blank differs, okay. So this copies data. So I'm going to go with interesting. CP? DD is the correct answer. That is kind of interesting. I do want to see what is the difference between DD and CP. I'm going to use the AI to ask it that. What is the difference between CP and DD? What real world situation would make DD the better command to use?
The primary difference between the CP and DD commands lies in their intended purposes and functionality. CP, copy. Purpose. CP is a standard Unix/Linux command used for copying files and directories from one location to another. Functionality. It is designed for general file and directory copying tasks, and it preserves file attributes like permissions, timestamps, and ownership. Syntax. CP source destination example. CP old file new filed, data dump. Purpose. DD is a versatile command line utility used for low-level copying and converting data between files or devices. Functionality. It operates at the block level and can copy not only regular files but also entire disks or partitions. DD does not have built-in awareness of file system structures and attributes, making it suitable for tasks like disk imaging, backup, and low-level
Okay,
data
that makes
manipulation.
sense.
Syntax. DD if equals input underscore file of equals output.
So I think a simple way to say it is CP works within file systems. So let me tell this to the AI. So I think a simple way to say this is like CP works within file systems and it copies files and directories from one location in a file system to another location within that file system. But DD works outside of file systems where it can copy data that isn't just contained within a file system to other locations as well. So an example would be backing up a disk. It can actually back up the partitioning information as well. It's not confined to operating only with the data of a file system. It can operate with all of the data on the disk.
DD operates at a lower level and can work both within and outside of file systems. It can copy not only file content but also Yes, your simplification is a good way to put it. CP primarily works within file systems and is focused on copying files and directories from one location to another within that file system. DD operates at a lower level and can work both within and outside of file systems. It can copy not only file content but also entire disks, partitions, and other data, making it suitable for tasks like disk imaging and low-level data manipulation. Your example of backing up a disk is spot on. DD can indeed back up not just the data within a file system but also the partitioning information and all data on the disk, making it a powerful tool for various data copying and manipulation tasks, especially when dealing with storage devices at a lower level.
So one thing that I don't get as well is like when you say storage disks are at a lower level, like what do you mean by that? Like I would consider them to be at a higher level. Like if I'm thinking of myself at a bash shell, I think of myself at like lower levels being I'm at slash and then I'm at like slash Etsy and slash proc and slash sys and then like I'm at slash user slash home and then like to go even lower than that I would go to like slash home slash documents slash my documents, you know, and like I'm going lower, I'm going down by doing that. But by going up I would go back up to like slash Etsy or even the slash itself and then slash etc or even just the slash itself. You know what I mean? I would go up to the root, like that's going up to me, and then to go up even further would to be go beyond where a file system is. So like, can you help me think of this more intuitively when you mean like to go lower, to go to low level data manipulation with DD because it can, you know, I would think of it more, it's like a container that holds the file system. So like, or like an umbrella, and then under that umbrella are like the file system and stuff, you know, it's like a case. So I'm having trouble thinking of DD operating at a lower level, and instead it's intuitive for me to think of it as a higher at a higher level. Can you explain why lower level is used?
I understand your confusion, and you're correct that the terminology can be a bit counterintuitive when it comes to data manipulation and storage devices. Let me clarify the concept of lower level and higher level in this context. Lower level. In the context of storage devices and data manipulation, lower level typically refers to operations that are closer to the physical layer of the hardware. It
Yeah.
involves dealing with raw data at the level of individual bytes or blocks on the storage device.
Okay.
When we say DD operates at a lower level, it means it has the capability to interact directly with the physical storage media or partitions on a disk. It can read and write data without much regard for the structure or organization imposed by file systems. Operations at this level can include tasks like creating disk images, copying data sector by sector, or working with block devices, /dev/SDA, /dev/SDB, where you are interacting directly with the physical storage, bypassing file system structure.
Okay, so is it correct to say that the levels are levels of abstraction? So like when we work at the lowest level of abstraction, we're literally like tapping our fingers on the metal form factors of everything. But when we work on the highest, we're working on things within things within things within things within things. So they're very highly abstracted. Is this a good way to think of it?
Yes, that's a great way to think about it. The levels in this context refer to levels of abstraction, with lower level operations
Yeah.
being closer to the
Okay.
hardware and more focused on the raw data, while higher level operations are more abstracted and work within the context of organized structures like file systems, directories, and files. When you work at a lower level of abstraction, you are dealing with the raw physical components of the storage medium, which can include individual bytes, sectors, or blocks on a disk. This is akin to interacting with the metal or hardware itself. Conversely, when you
If you were to have a finger, what would it be?
In the analogy of working with data and storage levels, if you were to assign a finger to represent a tool or command, you could think of the finger as the command or utility that you use to interact with data at a particular level of abstraction. For example, at a lower level, where you're working with raw data on a storage device, the finger could represent a command like dd because it can manipulate data at a very raw level, similar to how a finger can touch and interact with the physical hardware. At a higher level, where you're dealing with files and directories within a file system, the finger could represent a command like cp because it operates within the organized structure of files and directories, much like a finger interacts with objects within a room. So, in this analogy, the finger would symbolize the specific tool or command you use to interact with data at a particular level of abstraction.
Okay, one last question and then I will move on. Finger is an actual Unix Linux command, right?
I apologize for any confusion, but the term finger in the context of our discussion is not referring to an actual Unix/Linux command. It was used metaphorically in the analogy to represent a hypothetical tool or command that could be used to interact with data at different levels of abstraction. There is, however, a real Unix/Linux command called finger, but it has a different purpose.
Okay. All right. Well, and I'm not going to spend any time on that. It's not important for passing the LPIC. But yeah, that was good. Sorry, I just asked a tangential question because sometimes, I'm working with these AIs and it's like, is the robot alive? So I was just, okay. As you use your machine, files progressively grow in number and size. Sometimes it becomes difficult to locate a particular file. Fortunately, Linux provides find, F-I-N-T. There we go. So now this is CPIO. Copy in, copy out. CPIO. In addition to the configuration files listed above, the blank environment variable can be used to add new paths. So I know it's not export. Oh, it's an environment variable, which usually has uppercase syntax. So it's ld underscore shared, S-H-A-R, sorry, ld underscore library underscore path. ld underscore library underscore path. The blank command is one of the most important. It is ls. Blank is used to delete files. It is rm. Currently, blank is the most widely set of tools. Systemd. The configuration files associated with every unit can be found in the now these are configuration files associated with units. So /lib/systemd. A blank is an entity that stores data and programs. It consists of context, metadata, file system. Nope. File. A file, not a file system. Other types of package management tools popular on Red Hat distros are yum, Y-U-M. The GNU tar command, compress it with bzip2. So blank is faster, but is generally compresses a bit less. I don't remember. gzip shows all devices currently connected to the PCI. This is LSPCI. Blank takes a list of files on its command line and replaces each file whose name ends with this um, ignoring case, and which so this is gunzip, I believe. Gonzip. Yep. Blank deletes a file, a directory if it is empty. So it's del uh, dir. So nope, it's rmdir. The references contained in dynamically linked programs are resolved by the dynamic linker. So they're namely run in the /etc /ld.so.conf /etc/ld.so.conf. The blank command is the easiest way to create new empty files. So it's to create them. mkdir. Files, not directories. Touch, touch. You can also use it to change the timestamps of existing files and directories. So, blank copies data. So this is dd. Um, so, yeah, and that's different from copying files. It's a lower level of abstraction, closer to, the just so it's a lower level of abstraction, which you need for things like to update whole disks. So the answer is dd. This directory contains variable data or files and directories the system must be able to write to during operation. /var. Yep. The GNU tar command. So this is gzip or I don't remember. bzip2. A blank is an entity that stores data and programs. So this is a file. The command file lists each argument in an attempt to classify it. There are 3 sets of tests performed in this. So file. There we go. And let's read the whole thing. A file is an entity that stores data and programs. It consists of content and metadata. So file size, owner, creation date, permissions. Files are organized in directories. A directory is a file that stores other files. The command file tests each argument in an attempt to classify it. There are 3 sets of tests performed in this order: file system tests, magic tests, and language tests. The first test that succeeds causes the file type to be printed. And I think I'm taking another day of sedentary time because I'm still very, very much wiped out physically. The GNU tar command included with Linux distributions can create a single tar archive and then compress it with blank or bzip2 compression in a single command. So it's gzip. Yep. The blank command, short for tape archiver, is used to create tar archives, TAR. So blank deletes a directory if it is empty, rmdir. The standard parent directory for home directories of regular users on a system, /home. To uncompress the files, we use either gunzip or bzip2. Or bunzip2, bunzip2. So almost, but not quite. Blank is a feature provided by the Unix/Linux shell to represent multiple file names using special characters. So this is globbing. Yes, file globbing. And I'm okay with that. I didn't say file, but I don't think I need to get it right. Pipes and redirects are exclusive. That is, one source can be mapped to only one target, yet it is possible to redirect an output to a file and still see it on the screen with the program blank. Tee. Got it. The GNU tar command included with Linux distributions can create a or bzip2 bzip2. Got it. So gzip is faster, but it'll compress less, so you get a larger file. Bzip2 is slower, but it'll compress more, so you get a smaller file. Depending on the outputs generated by the replaced command, the built-in command substitution may not be appropriate. A more sophisticated method to use the output of a program as the argument of another program employs an intermediate called blank. The program blank. So it's xargs. Xargs. Yes. The program identify is part of ImageMagick. Okay, xargs. So the program xargs uses the contents it receives via standard in to run a given command with the contents as arguments. So we're going to run the identify command. We're going to pass it these options here. And then at the end here is where the standard in will come from. And it will come from the standard out of the find command. This is achieved with NOHUP, no hangup command. The syntax is as followed: no hangup command and then process. Remember the process? Oh no, this is an ampersand. Perfect. Take it to the background with BG. Take it to the foreground with FG. The blank command, as well as other utilities such as FG, BG, and kill that you will see in the next section, need a job specification or job spec to act upon a particular job. As we have seen, this can be, and normally is, the job ID preceded with a %. So the jobs, JOBS. Got it? To uncompress files, we either use gunzip or bunzip2, BUNZIP2. Both pkill and kill all work much in the same way as blank, in that they send a terminating signal to the specified processes. So the answer is kill, KILL, and it only takes either a job ID or a process ID as an argument. KILL. The default, if no signal is provided to KILL, the default sig term is sent. KILL. Okay, and this is copy in, copy out, so it's CPIO. So blank takes a list of files on its command line and replaces each file. So this is gzip. Actually, I think I'm gonna change my answer for gunzip. Gonzip. Got it. A blank is an entity that stores data and programs. It consists of content and metadata. So the answer is a file. Blank copies data from one location to another. So the answer is DD. Data dump. Blank is a feature provided by the Unix/Linux shell to represent multiple file names by using special characters called wildcards. So this is file globbing. Blank deletes a directory, so it deletes it. It does not create it. So the answer is RMDIR. The GNU tar command included with Linux distributions can create a .tar archive and then compress it with gzip. Gzip. The command tar or bzip2 compression. Take you to the foreground with FG. Okay, and this is the ampersand. The ampersand sends the process into the background and frees up the terminal you are working at. Pipes and redirects are exclusive. That is, one source can be mapped to only one target, yet it is possible to redirect an output to a file and still see it on the screen with the program TEE. Depending on the output generated by the replaced command, the built-in command substitution may not be appropriate. A more sophisticated method is to use the output of a command as the command of another program employs an intermediate called xargs. The blank command, as well as other utilities such as fg, bg, and kill that you will see in the next section, need a job specification or job spec to act upon a particular job. So the answer is jobs, JOBS. Take it to the background with BG. Both pkill and xkill all work much in the same way as kill, KILL. To uncompress files, we use either gunzip or bunzip2, BUNZIP2. There we go, and that's as easy as it is. So yeah, it took me less than an hour. That's about how long it's gonna take every day. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.